What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Singing the Tea. I'm your host, Dustin, singer, actor, Lewis. And you already know, sometimes I sing, sometimes I give you all of the reality TV tea, child, but it's always going to be what you want, and it's definitely what you need. And child, listen, what y'all need to do is like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell button so when I drop all new content, you get those alerts. Share with the family members, share with the friends so we can do what? Grow our community around here. So let's go ahead and dive on into the pieces, baby. We're going to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 10, Episode 10. This is the golden episode, child, if you ask me. Because we got the 10-10. It's golden. And listen, this episode should have been called the Nuck If You Buck Detroit Edition, baby. Because Stacey was arguing with people left and right, throwing people out. Baby, Stacey had it going on this episode. She said, you know what? Y'all done back me into a corner, and I'm finna fight my way out. And Stacey, I ain't even mad at you, girl. Let's talk about it. So the episode opens up, right, with Gizelle looking at her a new car. So she's looking at the G-Wagon. You know, the rich girls. She's a G-Wagon type of girly. So she's looking at a G-Wagon, and we see Wendy pull up as well. Now, my thing is with Gizelle and this G-Wagon, girl, you ain't even know what you was looking for. You been talking about some, I need something that's eco-friendly. You know, we trying to protect the environment and global warming and all. Giselle, you ain't know what you was talking about, girl. But that's all right. You trying to do your part. You trying to do your part to help the people. And cheers to you. All right. So, you know, Wendy pulls up. And I really like their friendship. I think that they have gotten to a good place. Even outside of the show, the way that Gizelle is handling the whole situation with Wendy and what's going on in real time, I think that Gizelle is handling that in such a good way. So I really feel like they are at a good place in their friendship, and I appreciate that. So, you know, they're talking and they catching up. So So Wendy is looking at after she finishes her lease on her car, she said, listen, I'm gonna give me something electric too. And she said, but Gizelle, I'm gonna let you know now, girl, I might give me a G-Wagon. I ain't gonna get the same color you got. I ain't gonna try to name it, you know, a Nigerian name or nothing. But I'm letting you know I might get one too, girl. We don't need to have no Happy Eddie, Happy Stacey part 2. And Gizelle said, girl, I appreciate you for letting me know because we don't need no more of that drama because Stacey always got something going on. And she said, girl, speaking of Stacey, how was your girl doing? How are you and her doing? And the thing when it comes to Stacey, and I love the way that Wendy put it, Stacey comes off like she admires the girls. She just doesn't know how to... Stacey admires the lady. She just doesn't know how to go about it. Like, she just doesn't know how to simply go about what it is that she needs to do. And I think that Wendy handled that great. Like, Wendy's like, look, she wanted to open her brand. She got the information she needed from me. She even reached out to my stylist, girl. We dress in the same. The girl just is a copycat. But she a cool girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I think that's the thing with Stacey. Stacey does seem like she's a genuine person. She does seem like she's a nice person at the end of the day. So I don't think that Stacey is doing a lot of these things intentionally. I just think that those are just what the cookies are crumbling when it comes to Stacey. But Stacey, you definitely are biting off for some of the girl style. That's definitely what's happening there. But we're going to let you make it. We're going to give you a little piece because the girls have definitely been mean to you. And that's what Wendy is saying. She's like, listen, y'all have been real mean to the girl. And the girl just need a hand. She just need a hand. She need a friend. Somebody that can lift her up. Count on me through thick and thin. A friendship that will never end. When you are weak, I will be strong. Helping you to carry on your cannabis brand. And that's what they got going on. So, you know, they jump into the car because they got to test drive the G-Wagon. Giselle ain't even know how to get it started. And it just gave me, I was scared. I was like, Wendy, jump out the car. You just have her call you. I would say, baby, y'all just have her put the phone on speaker in the seat and y'all just Photoshop a picture of me in the seat because I ain't going to be riding with this lady. She don't know how to drive. Absolutely not. So, you know, they're in the car and they just riding around and getting it. And, you know, they talk about Karen. And I will say, although I haven't really thought about Karen too much, Karen's presence is missed. Because I feel like a lot of the drama that's going on, if Karen was there, a lot of this carrying on wouldn't be going on if the Grand Dame was there. Because she'd be putting the girls in their place. She would definitely have to pull Angel and Kay aside to be like, listen, pull yourselves together. Because you girls, y'all got the eye and y'all are definitely missing the T. Please proceed with caution. Because you girls, you ain't got it. But anyway... So speaking of Karen and, you know, everybody missing Karen and, you know, trying to get the band all back together, you know, Monique comes up. And when it comes to Monique, Wendy and her are at a good place. Gizelle is like, listen, I feel like if she's going to be around, me and her going to have a conversation. And I think that that's a great idea. I think that the way them two left off, a conversation 100% needs to be had. Because the binder will go down to one of the most epic things that has happened at a reunion. And you got to get that to Monique. Like her or love her. That binder situation, mama ate that. And so, we know she got it in her to give the girls a piece. We loving this newfound Monique. But if she want to pull out a binder or two and give us a little I would say rehab, a little redo, then she can. And I ain't even going to be mad at Miss Mamas. But I definitely feel like they need to talk. So, speaking of talking, child, we see Miss Stacey and her best friend, AJ. I like AJ. I like AJ. I like Miss AJ. She is all right with me. I like her. I love me. Listen, I don't know if I can say this word. I love a particular gentleman like that. I'm going to just put it that way. I see her. Me and her see each other. But AJ and Miss Stacey, they go get them a little piece of beer. And, she just catching him up on things. And shout out to Stacey. We definitely got to give Stacey a shout out. Stacey is the first African-American or black woman in Virginia to own a cannabis line. Shout out to her. We're going to talk about that a little bit later because I just realized what my brain just did there. So Stacey is talking about inviting the ladies to her lunch, because she's having a lunch, and she says she hasn't heard anything from the ladies. She is getting crickets. And, she's kind of feeling away because a lot of the ladies are accusing her of a lot of things. But basically, baby, they throwing a lot at her, but ain't nothing sticking, according to her. Now, the confessionals and the flashbacks are giving us somewhat of a different story on some of the information. But we're going to still let Miss Mama make it. Because, listen, whether Stacey lying or telling the truth, she all right with me. I like that Stacey. She is a fool and she's a mess. But I do like her. But she just feels like she's been accused of a lot of mess and drama. And I can understand where she's coming from. Like, listen, I'm just trying to be cool with the girls. I'm trying to be these ladies' friend. And they up in here acting like I done did something wrong to them. Like, it ain't that deep for me. And I really feel like that's Stacey's MO. It's not deep for Stacey. It's just not. Like, she Teflon down, baby. You can't keep as good Stacey down because still she rise. Because that's who Stacey's going to be. So, when Stacey talks about a lot of the things that she's accused of, I think the situation with her and Tia, I think that was some misinformation that was provided, and Stacey might not be remembering what she told Tia accurately. Now, the Chris situation, the verdict is still out on that, but I do feel like Stacey, some of the information, you might not be crystal clear on. I'm going to just say that. But I do agree with AJ. Like, girl, you're going to have to stand up and fight for your right to party because you letting these women back you into the corner and it's time for you to fight your way out, which you did at the end of this episode. So shout out to you. Because I like that doggone Stacey. So we get into our next scene and it's with Tia. And just to jump into the actual meat and potatoes of that scene, Tia called Stacey because she was feeling the way about the situation, but she definitely still wants to support Stacey. And she wants to go to Stacey's event. So she calls her, lets her know, hey girl, I still want to be there to support you. I do think me and you need to have a conversation and figure out what the miscommunication was so that we can move forward. Because I can understand why Tia is upset with Stacey with that particular situation, because Tia didn't lie about what Stacey said. She just was like, hey, this is what was told to me. And Stacey, I don't think that Stacey was expecting either the phone to be on speaker, or I don't know, maybe she didn't realize that Tia was sitting in front of her. I don't know, but it was like, Stacey, you did kind of backpedal on some of that information, and I didn't like that. Because Tia is a cool girl. She's a cool girl, and I think that y'all could be cool. Stacey, you just got to be honest. That's it. So, we head over to our scene with Ashley and Josh, and they are on a date. And Josh, she done broke up with the man after they done had them a good time. They walk into the spot holding hands, and they walk out at odds. Ashley, Josh is a cute guy. He's a young fella. He's cute. I think the thing with their situation, and I can understand why Josh is a little hurt, is because, Ashley, you knew what that situation was before you went into it. And I'm not saying that the man is not I don't know what his financial situation is. And honestly, probably neither did she. But Ashley, I'm going to say this, though. What was his earning potential? Like, I feel like you just wrote him off too soon. Like, you just wrote dude off, and it was just kind of like, oh, and like when they were talking about their finances, I was so confused. Like, I can understand some of the statements, like, you know, hey, she doesn't know if she wants to have more kids. She doesn't know if she wants to get married, and those are things that she knows he wants. Ain't no use of us wasting our time. And I feel like that's where they should have started and stopped with the whole conversation. Where, to me, it started bothering me with Ashley is she started to, like, figure out excuses on why she didn't want to be in that relationship anymore. And, baby, you don't have to. Girl, you should have told that man, hey, look, you are wanting things out of this relationship that I do not want. And I think it is time for us to exit. You know, nothing has happened. No harm, no foul. I think that you're an amazing person. I just don't think that you're my amazing person. And that's okay. But when you started being like, oh, we're a year in and we haven't taken a trip together. Girl, what? Is that a requirement? I'm gay, so maybe my situations are a little bit different, but, and don't get me wrong, hold on, and don't get me wrong. People have offered to fly me out. Don't get me wrong, baby. But I'm just saying, that's not a requirement for me. Like, it's just not. Like, I'm not sitting here looking like, okay, we 1 year in and you haven't flown me out somewhere. And then when the dude was like, well, I tried to take you to Phoenix and Pittsburgh or wherever. And she was like, well, I'm talking about out of the country. Girl, what? And he was like, well, let's go this weekend. And you see what was happening there? The man is trying to meet you where you are, but you just don't want to be with him. So now it's more awkward. Y'all, I'm telling you, just go ahead. If you don't want to be with somebody, tell them. Don't string nobody along. Tell the poor people you don't want to be with. It was just cringy. It just got real cringy. And it just, the metric kept moving. The goalposts kept moving when they came to them. And I was real confused. And I really started to feel bad for the dude. And Ashley, I'm going to say this. What you really want is you want you a man with a lot of money. And ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm going to say this to you too, though, baby. It costs. Everything got a price. You had your rich man the first time. You see what happened. I'm just saying. Now, I understand you over there taking care of your family. I understand you helping out when you can. Baby, you got your own 2 children you got to focus on. Okay? And we're going to talk about that a little bit later when you have your conversation with your sister. But girl, yeah. I'm glad that I think you and him can still be cool. But girl, you know he wasn't the one for you anyway, girl. Because you want you an old man with a lot of money. And that's fine if that's what you want. But like I said, it comes at a price. So get ready for that. So the time is now, y'all. We finally get to sit down between the one and only Queen of Potomac, Gizelle, and Monique, baby. I was so ready for this. And I truly, truly, truly loved, in all seriousness, loved this scene. I feel like both ladies went into it open, honest, and ready to just move forward. I can tell that Gizelle was just over the situation. Like, I feel like just both of them, honestly. But I can really tell that Gizelle was open to moving forward with her in that moment. And I appreciated that so much. I really enjoyed the convo. I think it went great. Now, it was funny when they were sitting down and Gizelle was like, should we start it? You gonna drag me, Monique? Is that what we gonna start here? And that was just some funny, cute, fun shade. And I enjoyed it. They both got a laugh out of that. And Monique was like, listen, I'm not there no more, baby. I don't live there. I have grown. I have matured. I am no longer that woman. And I love that Monique on her part. I love that Monique, when she talked about seeing Gizelle's daughter, Grace, and she was like, I just saw how beautiful of a woman she is. And for me to be like, by me doing what I did, I hurt them. And that wasn't okay. And she apologized. And then Gizelle said that she was sorry for some of the things that she did. And she was just like, Monique, I just feel like you just had a lot of hate towards me for some reason. Now, I remember that situation a little bit different. I feel like Gizelle, you threw some shade. That girl threw a tree and you ain't like it. And it's all right because, hey, listen, I tell people, shade of equal or greater value. It ain't no shade. I don't know what's going to come out. But if your feelings get hurt, then don't jump in the ring with me, baby. Because this over here is top tier. I got a doctorate in reading. You don't want to get in the ring with me if you just are taking a course. If you're just taking you a course and giving you a couple of hours, don't get in the ring with a doctorate. I'm just saying. So, but I'm glad that the ladies were able to work past it. I'm glad that they were able to move forward. They were able to apologize. And I love that. I love that. And, when they hug it out, they leave the restaurant and we're going to move on to our next scene when it comes to Greg, Kiana Mama, and Angel. They are going engagement ring shopping. About time. If they like it, I love it. I think that it's really nice. The rings were gorgeous. when Greg and the sales worker said, he'll be happy with whatever ring that he provide, they wasn't lying. She will be. And you know what, Kay? Good for you. If this is the man of your dreams, if the man of your dreams is got a house that you can't live in and he bought you a condo somewhere else, then hey, baby, you living the dream, girl. And I ain't mad at you. Because if I had a man buy me a condo of all my Amazon things, girl, I wouldn't be mad. Baby, he can have his house. I ain't mad. Just give me a condo with a couple of rooms, not too many. I want me a room, 2 guest rooms, and my little YouTube studio, baby. That's all I need. I ain't asking for too much. I'll take a little simple, a 3-2, a 4-3, a 3-3, baby. I'll take whatever you got. Okay? So, Kay, I ain't mad. But Greg, I think, does really care for Kay. I think that they've done the work to get in a better place. And that's just that. Her mama seemed to be coming around. Her mama want her to get the biggest, baddest ring. Okay, now I'm going to say this, though. I'm glad when Greg was saying he felt like that ring was too big, and I think he was joking a little bit. I do be feeling like some of the wedding rings be way too big. Like, I understand people were like, oh, my ring had this many carats, it cost this much money. Which, cool, if that works for you, that's fine. But some of the rings look so unflattering because they're so massive and they're not practical for everyday life. I want me a good practical ring for everyday life. Let me stop lying. I want the full shaboom shabam, baby. If I get me a man, baby, everybody gonna know it. Y'all all gonna know it, baby. I'm just saying. And I'm definitely going for the big guns on the ring. I'm just playing. I'm not. We're gonna see. All right. So, we head over to Ashley and her sister. They're going shopping because her sister's going to college, her younger sister. And they start having a conversation about, their parents. Ashley's mom and her sister's dad. And we all know that Ashley, her mom, and her stepdad have struggled for quite some time, right? Ashley just doesn't appreciate the things that he's put them through. Her sister got emotional, but she seems like a very smart girl. So I think that she'll be okay. It's just a tough situation. And the biggest thing that I can say to them in this, you have to let your parents live your life. Now, your sister is younger, so she still was affected by that. And I think she lives with Ashley because she just couldn't be in that situation anymore. But y'all are going to have to come to peace that your mama is going to do and say or whatever it is with that man. And y'all going to have to find the pieces to put y'all to make y'all whole. Because if you looking from Miss Wig or whatever their mom, I can't remember their mama name. But Miss Wig, she ain't going to give it to you. And we ain't never met the man. But I feel like he over there looking like Who Shot John. And I don't know. But yeah. And they talking about he got... never mind. I ain't finna go on. I almost went in and got real unprofessional. This is a classy-based channel over here. We trying to get into the pearly gates of heaven, so I ain't gonna go too in on that little girl daddy. But we got our eyes on him. Because it's something about him now. He ain't sitting well in my spirit. So I don't know if I care for the man, and I'm just leave it at that. And we're gonna move on to the next thing because I don't care for him. And I about halfway don't like her bad wig wearing mama. But I ain't gonna go in on that lady mama because I sometimes like Ashley. But I really like her little sister, so I'm gonna be respectful. All right. So we got us a Happy Eddie pop-up. We got a Happy Eddie pop-up, and Wendy and Eddie are at the pop-up shop. It looks real cool. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting, I do, but I don't get it. Let me be honest. I do, but I don't get it. When Stacey was like she didn't want to really invite Wendy to like some of the stuff because it was a conflict of interest, I can understand the conflict of interest, but it's like Wendy and Eddie's business is established. And especially in the production was real shady and messy, baby, because, you are saying like, oh, well, it's a conflict of interest. Girl, you only got 2 pieces of candy around there. You got 2 pieces of candy. You think somebody finna come around there? Girl, I can go to Walmart and they got a plethora of way more snacks than you do. I don't know what you talking about. What these people finna mooch off of you for? You got sit up straight and relax. That's all you got around there. And Happy Eddie over there got 27. Now he got 42 flavors of that bootylicious bubblegum, raspberry, grape, cherry. Come and get that Happy Eddie. That's what he got around there. But see, girl, you so worried about somebody coming over there and munching off of your Cracker Jack box. Ain't nobody worried about that, Stacey. And see, Stacey, I like you. I'm sorry, I ain't mean to do all this to you. But Stacey, that had me a little hot because yeah, Wendy and Eddie got something going on in their personal life, but I like them. You ain't have to do them people like that. It's talking about conflict of interest. Girl, it's a conflict of interest for them, for you. Because you be mooching off of everybody. You really got some nerve, Stacey. How dare you? Stacey, ooh. Anyway, so Stacey having her lunch, so we had Happy Eddie, Stacey got her lunch, and then production was shady again, talking about some, Stacey was like, yeah, being the owner. And production said, do you own the company? And Stacey over there, oh, well, I couldn't do anything without my business partners. You answered that like a real pageant queen. You definitely did that. But Stacey, you see what I'm saying? Stacey, you just be saying too much. It ain't that you be lying. People be like, oh, hey, how you doing? Stacey be like, oh, hey, girl, I just left Walmart. I just bought a couple of things. I bought some ham, some turkey, some dressing. And people like, Walmart don't even sell that. Oh, well, you know what I meant. See, Stacey, you give us too much. You just need to give us enough to get us by. But you want to give us the cold kitchen plus the sink, and we don't need that. We just need a refrigerator. You need to start to hold, honey. Hold some of that in. So, she having her a lunch for her 2 pieces of candy. I was shocked. When Stacey said we got 2 flavors, I said, now this ain't what Princess was rapping about. You got 2 flavors? 2? That's it? She got raspberry grape. You supposed to have raspberry grape cherry. Come and get this yummy yum. Girl, you ain't even got that. Stacey, what am I supposed to do with raspberry and grape? You gotta have raspberry grape cherry. If you would have had 3, I'd be like, all right. I would have gave you that if you would have had 3. But 2, I can't even do the song. Raspberry grape cherry. That's what we'll allow you to stop on raspberry grape cherry. But you just doing raspberry and grape. Whatever, Stacey. Anyway, so Jazzy and Tia pull up. And listen, Kay and Giselle said, no, thank you, ma'am. We will not be in attendance for your 2-piece of candy lunch. They said, you ain't even going to have enough candies to suffice everybody in the group. Everybody having to chop up that one edible and pass it amongst the group because you ain't have enough for the people. First of all, the employees bought and ate all the candy anyway. By the time it got to us, the people said that y'all had to run down there to the store and get Starburst and cut Starburst up into little cubes and hand it out to the people. That is a legend. Please don't come for my Amazon things. I'm just having a good time tonight. Okay? But anyway, so, everybody over there just, dude, this so good. Everybody saying it's good, but y'all notice we ain't seen nobody put nothing in nobody's mouth. That stuff was plastic, allegedly. I'm just playing. So, anyway, so Ashley pull up, and, Ashley's like, oh, yeah, hey, girl, I just want to pull up. Ooh, girl, I had that on last week. Y'all just are determined to embarrass my poor Stacey. Stacey said, see, here you go, already with the mess, Ashley. And Ashley's like, girl, you got your wet to wavy crimp tail like I got. You wearing a dress I wore last week. You want to beat me, and that's okay. So they start throwing little digs at each other, and they having a good time. And Stacey's like, look, come over here, girl. Let me talk to you. Because, you here to support me. I understand you saying that, but me and you need to chat. And Stacey's like, look, Ashley, you and I... It seems that we always have this tension when we get together. When we get together, me and you always have this friction. And I just need to figure out, are me and you good? Can me and you stop this foolishness and can we move forward? And Ashley's like, listen, Stacey, I can be cool with you. Monique has decided to move forward, so I'm going to decide to move forward. I ain't got no stake in the you and Wendy thing, but I feel like you knew what you was doing. But my thing is this, Stacey. We can agree on this. If you stop your lying, then I can take my foot off your neck. So, they come to a mutual ground. They were still throwing a little shade, especially Ashley, but I feel like they were able to move forward. And Stacey just wants the girls to just prove to her that y'all are ready to be our friends. Y'all keep saying I'm lying, but everything is coming up false when y'all saying I'm lying. So what is it? So they agreed to move forward. So when they sit down, Ashley's like, listen, Stacey, I got to give you this piece. Something that I had to learn in this group is when you are a part of this group and you are on this franchise, you win when you're authentic. And don't get me wrong, we think Stacey is funny. I love me some Stacey. But sometimes I think that's what it is. Stacey just doesn't come off like her authentic self. And that's where it's a little tricky when it comes to Stacey. And Stacey's like, you know what? I can get that. And speaking of being authentic and being truthful and letting our true selves come out. Hey, Tia girl, I didn't appreciate when you was at that dinner with Wendy and you were trying to call me out. Like you were trying to make it seem like I wasn't honest about the situation. And, so they start getting into it. And I'm going to say this. Stacey, I do think that what Tia said to Wendy, she didn't take anything. She didn't add anything. She really just repeated what you said to her at that event. I understand she invited you and your husband, and y'all declined the invite. But her issue was, you said that he just flew in, but you told her, well, him and you told her that he just flew out. So it was like, it's a conflict there, because if he just got there, or if he was there the whole time, then he could have went to the whole thing. So it just seems like y'all are lying about something, and it doesn't seem necessary. And I understand that you are saying that you, Wendy, and Eddie, and him possibly have something to work out with the whole TJ thing, but he wasn't even around. Like, they didn't say anything about him. They were talking about TJ, girl. So I don't get what your issue is with them when it comes to that. And you and Timu, y'all need to figure that out, because I feel like y'all are on here thick as thieves, and y'all just need to figure out y'all's story before y'all get on the camera. Because I feel like you told one thing and then you told another. And then two, even with this whole thing, they like, girl, where's he at? Oh, well, he had to work. You know, he's a busy working man, which is fine. The man got to work. He got to pay the bills. You got to do what you got to do. We ain't even mad at that. But Stacey, it just seems like there's always something preventing him to be around this group. And if you want to be around this group and you want the ladies to believe what you're saying, he could pop up sometimes. Because they are not trying to cause any harm to this man. These ladies are trying to support you, because you already had one person from the Parkers that was allegedly kind of sort of lying about you, allegedly. I don't know. So you need to get your stories right. But let me tell y'all something. And I had to just put my phone down. Baby, when I tell you, when Tia and Stacey got to going back and forth, and Tia got to cussing Stacey out, and Stacey said, you will act like a lady up in here. She said, you see, she talking about, so she's so prim and proper, she want to be etiquette Miss Mamas and all that. She said, girl, you know what? You get your things and you can exit out. Baby, this all happened on Juneteenth. The people is not, listen, the people are rolling over in their grave, because she a princess of Nigeria and Stacey is a princess of Potomac. Y'all need to get it together. Y'all is running amok through the... Mama D would not be proud. She would not be proud of the way that y'all handled each other at that event. And then Tia had said, y'all were lovely, but will not be buying them 2 pieces of candy that Stacey got over here. I will not be buying them 2 pieces of candy. She said, you are nice, I like you, you are lovely, but I will not be buying 2 pieces of candy today. She said, I'll go down there to the Happy Everywhere. I have a slew. She said, baby, I got a selection I can choose from. They got 27 options of that Bootylicious bubble gum. Stacey only got 2, and that's the fool. And let me tell y'all, Stacey, the verdict is still out on you with the Tia situation, because I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that, because you wasn't too truthful. But Stacey, I still like you. You still all right with me. I'm going to tell y'all this. Stacey let that Detroit come out at the end when they were getting each other together, and I was here for every ounce of it. I truly enjoy me some Stacey. Stacey's all right with me. Tia is that girl. Tia is very even keeled, and I think that that's the thing between their riff. It's like Tia is herself. Like, Tia, what you see is what you get. Tia's just a dope housewife. Like, I think she's so cool. I think she's a perfect addition to the show. So I really, really, really love her. And I hate to see them two get into it, because I think that they're both amazing characters on this show. Let me know what y'all think. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the review here. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share with a family member, share with a friend, so we can grow our community over here. I think I'm going to go ahead and try to watch Married to Medicine tonight. I'm going to try. And so we can get that out the way. But until next time, thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good one.